This is a reflection on lesson 282 in A Course in Miracles, and it says, I will not be afraid of love today. I will not be afraid of love today. I love this lesson. It's about, this whole book is about love versus fear. Feels like a big theme of the book. And it says that the name of fear is simply a mistake. It's just an illusion that we adopt and that we can rectify, like by moving into the state of love. So I will not be afraid of love today. What it made me think of a couple things. Let's see where to start. I think, first of all, as you know, if you've been watching these, that love is an expansive feeling and fear is a contracted feeling. And I think about how when I'm like, where do well, here's what I thought about. Where do I actually see fear out in the world? Well, everywhere. Like, even down to, I was thinking about activism because I was reading a book by a local artist and authors that collaborated on a few books, like a trilogy I found at a bookstore yesterday. And so last night I was reading through them, and their message was, it was like a trilogy. All three were about activism. One was like for the earth, one was for the woman's body and like reclaiming the body, and then one was for all of our animal friends. So it was like, because at the time they wrote this, it was like COVID and extreme wildfires and all that was going on in 2020, and then they released another one in 22 and then another one in 24. So they were all within our recent history. So I'm thinking, yeah, I remember that, and I still see it out there. Like our activism for the earth, activism for other animals that we share this planet with, and activism for the woman's body that's been objectified and subjected to so much, and how we can reclaim that. So I was thinking how the way she wrote, like the words themselves, were from a viewpoint of love. That you can do activism through the lens of love and have a far greater impact. Because when people feel, I'll just speak about me, when I feel the energy of fear in activism, it makes me want to turn away. It makes me want to not be any part of it. If there's hatred, fear, bashing, side taking, now naturally activism, you have a viewpoint, you have a perspective, which is a side. So, but I'm talking about, you get lost with side taking and other side bashing instead of your message of what are you for versus what are you against. So that's what I think about love versus fear. Love is like, what are you for? Fear is like, what are you against? That's like the main POV of your message. So when I was reading this book, that really struck me, like their point of view was one of love. And that was more inciting of action toward that cause. For me, I felt that. I was like, oh yes, like tears in the eyes. That's what I want to, if I get behind the word fight, that's what I want to fight for. I don't want to fight against, I want to fight for. And so that's my kind of activism that gets me all excited, is when it's based in love. Like, what are you for versus what are you against? Now, you do both simultaneously, don't you? By being for something, you're naturally against what isn't for that. But the way, like, where you put your energy is what matters for me. So then I thought about the artwork itself. The author who collaborated with this local artist, and she's well known, Mary Frank, and she like has a place in near Woodstock, and then also down in New York City. So, and she's all about activism her whole life. She's like in her 90s, and she's been doing this literally her whole life without stop. Just go, go, go. I'm like, that's amazing. And you can tell through her work. And I went on her social media, and I'm like, yeah, love is what fuels her. She's fighting for things. And so lately, with all this activism in our own communities and around the world that I tap into once in a while when I'm not in the news, but what catches my attention is like the big hate-filled ones, like bashing the other side. I just immediately close it down, turn away. That's not a vibe I want to be around. But then the ones that draw me in are the ones of love. Like, this is what we want to build in the world. This is what we want to like build, like to perpetuate. You know, it's usually love-based. So I will not be afraid of love is what this lesson is about. Like, love always wins, doesn't it? So I think about if I were to go toward a cause, to put my efforts behind something, gets me thinking about, what do I want to see more of in the world? Like, be the change you want to see in the world. What do I want to see more of? I'll get behind that, you know. So it makes me, I'm going to think about that some more on my drive home. And versus against, because the against is so contracting in nature. It's just like, it's resistance energy, and what resists persists. So if you're resisting fascism, guess what's going to persist? Fascism. So how do you get behind the opposite of that and fuel that forward, you know, through the lens of love, through the energy of love? So I'll think about that some more. So that's the people who, like, maybe that's all they know, the activists who only know how to work against something because they might feel like it's an outlet for anger, you know, and I totally empathize with that. Like, I want my anger to go towards something fruitful, what I perceive as productive. I want this inner angst to like have an outlet that's productive and not harmful, right? So how could I turn that into love energy? Well, anger is meant to be an inciting energy. It's not meant to last. You're not meant to like stay in it and let it burn you up. And a lot of activism, when I look out there, I feel like it's an anger that's creating more fire and like burning itself up. And the other side, if you want to talk about sides, like that anger is directed toward, it persists. It might be like this, like an attention thing, like, yay, we're getting their attention. That's what we want. We want awareness, attention for our side. And the other side, you know, the side that's so fired up is just burning itself up. It's resistance and it persists. So how do I put my love, like love and flow, you know, like resistance is not flow. So I think about what allows me to flow with creativity and love. That's what I want to put more of into the world. And is there something that I really believe in that I want to see more of in the world? Like, what would I want a future to look like? What would I want my now to look like? That's not just about the future. Like, what can I do every day that's a little bit of energy in that direction? So I'll think about that. It usually feels like whatever I do, whether it's writing or artwork, whatever, or even these things, feels like I just want to keep highlighting what it means to connect with each other in an authentic way, what it means to cheer each other on, what it means to not judge, just to allow everyone to be as they are, to be the fullest expression of their potential in this lifetime. without reservation, without using the word should or should not. Yeah, it's like I want more of that energy in the world, where people without reservation and without feeling judged give themselves permission to be the fullest expression of themselves, which would naturally be love and positivity in a direction that they want to see more of in the world. So it's like removing the barriers, which is to me what the title of this lesson was about. I will not be afraid to love. I will not be afraid of love. So it's like, how can we get people who are acting in a state of fear, which they perceive as good and useful and productive and fruitful, like this activism? It's like anger and fear under the name of activism feels like such a tragedy. Just call it what it is. You're in a state of fear, acting in anger. It's okay, but call it what it is. And then maybe it can shift into love. And the people maybe who are acting in that way, are they afraid to love? It seems like that's a common thing for this lesson to even call it out in the title. To say, wait a minute, am I really afraid to turn this into love? What do because I reflected on this. What is it, a loss of a sense of control that I would feel if I let go of this anger, if I let go of this fear that like love isn't enough, like feel like maybe the people who are activisming in that fear anger territory, like you should be mad about this, and they want other people to be mad about it. You should feel like I feel, or else you don't care enough. That's the kind I'm talking about. And if you move into love, do you feel like love is just to like, I don't care about anything, everything's beautiful? No, that's bypassing. That's dissociation. When you get to the state of like ignoring the truths of everything. It could be. So is there a perceived sense of a loss of control, a loss of fire, that would make a difference? Oh, I don't know. Why not try it out and see if it's really all that scary? Might actually feel good. Oh, that's what it made me think of. Okay, that's enough. Today it's a beautiful drive. Oh my God. We're driving from Woodstock, New York to Bethel, New York, because we wanted to visit the historic Woodstock Music Festival site, which is an hour and a half outside of Woodstock. That's slowing down so we can get some video of this beautiful scenery. And I don't know, I've just always had this affinity toward the Woodstock thing, even since I was telling Matt last night. I'm like, I remember in middle school knowing all about it. And a teacher was like bringing it up in class, and I was like, oh, cool. And the teacher, it was like 6th grade or something, was like, and I would have been like 11 or 12, was like, does anybody know what Woodstock was? And I was like, oh. And they told all about it. And she's like, yeah, and then she was like, well, when was it? And I was like, August 15th to 17th, 1969. I'm like, why did I know that? In Woodstock, New York. Even though at the time I didn't realize it was an hour and a half away from Woodstock, New York. And now I know the real history of how that came about. Woodstock kind of said, no, we don't want you here, in so many words. And so they found a place that allowed it on somebody's farm. So anyway, it was just funny. I don't know why I've always had an affinity, but that's why I was like, Matt, on our way home, let's stop in Woodstock and let's stay at least 2 nights, because we will have only stayed 1 night in each place. And we were so glad we did, because it's beautiful here, the scenery in the Catskills. And so now we're making our way to Bethel, and then we're going to shoot to Ohio. And then tomorrow we'll just go from Ohio to Illinois on our way home. So that's that. As far as the trip, here's some scenery for you.